and welcome back to Scrap with Penny, where paper meets story. Today I am working with Traci Reed Designs' new release, Make Merry, and y'all, it is just so much fun. I have planned a 2021 story about New Year's Eve, but before I show you all of that stuff, I was getting my stuff all ready here, and I just laid this down centered, and I thought, I've got to show everybody what a simple and quick and easy page this would be. Here's a little stripe. You could come in, just do a good strong vertical band. You could do a horizontal band of photos and paper. And I may have to make this page because I love these colors. This mint green with the soft pink, I just love it. Okay, so back to what I'm working on today. If you've been with me a while, we are working on our 2021 stories, and today we're going to be working on this New Year's Eve, and I can mark that off as done. And I've got just a handful of stories left, and we are going to finish this year. That's the impetus for selecting the photos I've got, and we'll start there. Well, let me show you. I just have to show you the most adorable cocktails ever. And then I've got this stripe, and I've got this print, and then I printed off extra of this, but when I was trimming it, I just went ahead and trimmed it at 1/4 inch because sometimes that's hard, if you cut it all down. But look at these fun papers. So, of course, this is a digital collection, and you would print it and then get to play with it. The nice thing about the digital collections is that you don't have to worry about storing them, and you can print exactly what you want, which is so much fun. And so these are the pictures I have. I've got not that many pictures. And so it's going to be a single page. I've got my photo mats ready. I printed out 2 3x4 cards. Look. So it's perfect. And you know what I thought yesterday while I was pulling this stuff together is I waited for the perfect time to tell this story, because if I had told this story earlier in the year, I wouldn't have had this adorable collection to play with. So I'm going to cut away to the sketch now, and you can see this is a September 2025 page maps, and I've got a strong vertical band, and that's kind of what I'm showing you, but my papers are going to be different. On the right you see a white section, and I'm going to put the pink plaid there, and then I'm going to do a small strip of the red twinkle lights, and then I'm going to put the snowflakes over toward the left. The cocktails are going to be the small mat in the middle, and then my stripe is where you see it. So these cuts are not accurate, but this is the way the patterns are going to lay out, and you can see just how quickly this page is going to come together, and I'm so excited about that. I'm going to do my little cocktail there. These are going to tuck in up here. Do some journal strips here, and then I'll figure out what embellishments I want to print out. Now on the papers, I have a video on scaling page maps that shows you or demonstrates how to look at a page maps and determine the measurements. And this one that I'm using is super easy because 3 of the strips are obviously 12 inches long. But on the snowflake, that is going to be 3.5 wide. This is 1/4. This one right here is going to be 7/8, and then this will kind of be the right side of the page, and it'll be about 6 1/4. And so I'll tape this down first and build over toward the right. And this stripe on the left isn't in the sketch, but I was thinking that it would be a fun little scallop, so that's why I've got it pulled. I like how it brings the red back over on this side. When I was thinking about these papers, I was like, gosh, I've got the 2 greens on top of one another, and the 2 warm colors close to one another, and I decided I like it that way. So I'm thinking on that little 3x4 card, I might stitch that little arch so that it pops up. The other thing I was thinking about was printing the, I mean, in Texas, I would call that a margarita. I'm thinking about printing a second little margarita and popping it up off of the card. That's a fun little trick you can do to bring some dimension to your hybrid elements. And so this isn't really going to take very long at all. Oh, and look, so yesterday was football day. So full disclosure, the Cowboys were losing badly in the first half, and they kind of have to earn my time for me to just sit and watch them and do nothing. So during the first half, they didn't earn that time, and I was ready at the beginning of the game. I was ready to go into the living room and watch it with Steve, and then it just started off abysmally, and I stayed in here and I stayed in here. So what I did in those moments when I was kind of half scrapping and half watching the TV was I printed out my photos, I trimmed them down, got my journaling written up, got it typed and printed out. And of course, I'll cut that into journal strips, and I'll go over that in a little bit. And that's just kind of why I've got some things pre-cut and ready to go. Okay, so the sketch calls for a title, and it would go up here somewhere. And I don't know what that title will be. I'm thinking something kind of short and sweet, because I don't want it to be overpowering. But there's an adorable alpha set that comes with this collection, and I can totally see me using that. There are also some pre-made titles on the sticker sheet, and there's one that's called Celebrate, and there's one that's Holly Jolly, and there's one Merry and Bright, and there's one Festive. So, and there's a real cute phrase that says have a cup of cheer, which would be fun, somewhere. Okay, and the other thing I have to say is I absolutely hate these pictures of me. So I've shared before, I put on 30 pounds during the pandemic, and I swear it's all sitting in my face right there. But, life goes on, and we're not all perfect. And I choose to document life, and sometimes life is hard, and sometimes life is good, and sometimes we're heavy, and sometimes we're not. So it's cringeworthy to put this out there, but I'm here for the story, and that's really what matters. So what I'm going to do now is pause, and I'm going to cut my papers to the sizes that they need to be. And I'm probably actually going to go ahead and tape them down as well. So I'll be back in a second. So here it is with all the paper taped down, and I just wanted to talk for a minute in the event you don't have a wide format printer. So if we go back to the original sketch, it had just some bands right here in the center, and the pictures were across. I'm going to pop that sketch up now so you can see behind the pictures. You could have cut your paper in half, and then what I call Frankenstein, put part of it on top and part of it at the bottom, so that your pictures, don't actually, so that your papers don't connect behind the pictures. So I'm going to come back to my page, and if you did a photo band across like this, and then you shorten this up, and you could do a repeat of your scallop over here, or you could repeat your stripe, or you could flip this and put your plaid against your snowflakes and put these on the outside. And then you could see where you wouldn't need a wide format printer to do a 12 by 12 scrapbook page. So in this case, if I were going like this, I would do a cardstock photo mat, and then I would still let my photos have some space in between. And those are just, ways you can work around not being able to print a true 12 by 12. So the other option is you could do, strips that cut off. You could do 11-inch long strips, and you wouldn't have to go the length of the page. So I'm mindful that not everyone has that, and I don't want to eliminate anybody from being able to play with this collection. So I wanted to talk about that for a minute. Maybe that helps. I'm not sure. Drop a note in the comments if you want to hybrid scrapbook but feel like you can't because you can only print as large as letter. Because if there's a lot of demand, then I can work on a tutorial with some specific hacks on how to go around it. And along those lines, Traci has a ton of tutorials on her website, and I'll link those in the video description. This collection has a 6x8 pack of paper, and that's what I went to for the cocktails. I love that because you get the smaller scale. You know, in traditional paper lines, this would be like your 6x8 paper pad. This goes right, it's slightly skewed toward the bottom. I'm probably not going to tape it down yet. And then I've got I don't know why I wouldn't tape it down. I think because I want to see these pictures on it and see if I want to adjust it. So the photo mats themselves are 4x4, and the pictures then are like 3.87 by 3.87. So just kind of trying to keep an even margin. Whoops. Let me put some magnets on there to stabilize it. Just trying to put an even margin around, you know, here, here, and here. This collection has a beautiful deep teal in it, and there's a cute tag on it that's got a holiday cheer, but I stayed away from that because of the navy in my photos. But if you're not scrapping, you know, holiday pictures with navy in them, you would probably love that little card. Goodness. Okay, so that's what we're looking at. This is such a good, fast page, in my opinion. Let me cut my journal strips, and we'll lay those out, make sure they fit, and then also let me start looking at some embellishments. When we were seeing reveals in our design team group about the collection and we got to vote on the palette and everything, which was super fun, I requested this palette. I voted for this palette, and then I said, and throw in some cocktails. And then a couple of other girls chimed in and said yes. And I mean, Traci may already have had that idea in mind, to be sure, but when I saw the little drinks appearing, I was so excited. We have, on Christmas morning, we have poinsettias, and it's a mimosa, except you substitute the orange juice for cranberry juice. So you get this beautiful cranberry colored drink, which this is obviously like a cranberry colored cup because the color's going all the way to the top, but so fun. So here are my journal strips. This is using a document from Nicole at Coley Being. I always link her tutorial in the video description. And here is the Hero Art Sentiment strip die. And you use the document. She uses Century Gothic as a default font. I use Courier Prime, which is the same as American Typewriter on Mac. And so you just line these up, run it through your die cut machine, and then you get these beautiful straight strips. So I'll cut up the jagged edges, put them up on foam, and I think they'll wrap right down here. Man, I love the journal strip hack because some of my handmade journal strips look terrible. I never could conquer that, but I love, love, love the look of them. So I've got my journal strips printed out, and I kind of think they'll go here. They're longer than what will fit here, and I don't want to shove everything over because I like the placement. I like the amount of paper that I'm seeing. You know me, it's all about the paper and the story. And you gotta marry them well together. So I think what I can do is use this little area as a loose cluster area. I'll probably do some kind of cluster here to kind of wrap around the journaling, and then my title will go up here, and I'll do something around that. Okay, so the collections come with 3 sticker sheets that you can just print off and cut right away, but what I like to do honestly is pull my design into silhouette, and this time I even pulled the pictures in, and so I size everything that I want based on the scale of the page. Now these are extra. I've got another project I'm going to do with this collection, and so I didn't want to waste this paper down here. Y'all, but look, I made this cute little 31 for New Year's Eve, and I put one of those little stars on it. The kit comes with a 25 that Traci designed, and I just kind of copied her inspiration on that to do the little 31. And my drink, I'm going to put that on top of that, and I'm going with snowflakes because this is more, you know, New Year's Eve is still part of the holidays, but it's not necessarily Christmas tree and presents and bows and all that. So I love that this collection has, you know, embellishments that can take you from, you know, Black Friday shopping all the way to New Year's Day. So I'm going to run these through my Cameo now. And, you know, you don't have to have a Cameo to do this. You can also do it with a Cricut. And she also has one of her sticker sheets that has lines on it so you can fussy cut it. So lots of choices there. And what I'm going to do now is run these through my Cameo, get a cut, and then I'm going to, while that's cutting, I'm going to tape this down and we'll keep moving forward. I think everything as I have it is good. So what I'm going to do is pause the recording and keep going. So here's my sticker sheet cut. So I got my Misty out. I think I already said that I had this taped down. And I use these acrylic corners with the Misty for placement, you know, to get even margins. And so this is 1/2 inch. And I'm just going to come here with my first photo mat. And I've shared before that I like to put the mats down and then put the pictures on. I feel like it gives me a little stability and I'm able to get a nicer mat. Then on this second one, I moved my 1/2 inch border down here. Do y'all do big things for New Year's Eve? We don't stay out until midnight when we do go out. This year we ran out for dinner and then we came back and played games. I need to tuck this mat under this. The nice thing about gingham is you can use the paper pattern for your alignment. I think this should work now. Yep, that's what I'm going for. Then on the 3x4, I'm going to go right here, but I just want really, I think a small margin. I want to be able to see the paper though, so I may need to go, yeah, that's better. Let me see what it looks like down here. Yeah, that's good. Okay, so I'm going to go with 3/16. Oh no, it's a quarter. So for New Year's, this is a funny story and I need to tell it. For New Year's 2024, this son here, he is a chef and she's a pastry chef. They're both graduates of the Culinary Institute of America. And Andrew decided that he would cook for us for New Year's Eve. And, you know, Nashville was here and we had our Christmas together on on New Year's Day. And my daughter-in-law from Nashville does not like fish. I mean, she eats it some, but it's just not her favorite. And so Andrew asked how everyone felt about fish for New Year's Eve, and she said she was okay with it. Well, then Andrew proceeded, this is a little off. I think I'll be okay with it because I can just put something there. So he proceeded to do something called the Feast of 7 Fishes. And oh my word, it was 7 dishes and it was all seafood based. Bless Beth's heart. She goes, I was okay with like 1 fish dish. She goes, but 7, but I mean, he did such an array, and that's why I've got to tell the story because it was just an island full of seafood delicacies. Okay, so just real quick to show you how this goes. I've got my adhesive on my photo, and there we go. Then here's the next one. This one's a little bit harder because I'm working over my phone, but I think that's it. So we have our note where we're planning this year's Christmas, and my Nashville son, he made a note that he wanted to request Andrew make lobster rolls, and that was kind of a funny throwback to all the fish. My boys are funny. They keep me in stitches. All right, let me pause the recording and get my embellishments. So this is kind of where I am right now, and I feel like when I get it taped down, I can kind of tighten it up and make it look a little better. I went ahead and moved the journal strips over here, and I might come over a little bit more with them. They're just so fiddly to mess with when they've got the foam on them and you're trying to place them. And I want to stitch on this line right here. That's probably what I'm going to do next, and then I can pop up the cocktail. So I just love how it's looking. I love the pops of color. I love the fun vibe that it's giving off. And so I'm going to stitch on this real quick, and then we can keep making this page. Okay, so I am back, and this is finished, and I just think it is so very cute. I did rearrange the configuration up here. I decided that the scale I had on the deep teal snowflake was too large, and also I wasn't really wanting to highlight that particular color because, like I said, the navy. And so I changed out the snowflakes up here, and I took 3 down here and 2 there, and so I feel like it kind of wraps around a little bit more, certainly maybe a little bit more pleasing. And I did enlarge this slightly because I felt like it needed a little stronger presence, and mainly because I've got this holiday cheers over here, so this is kind of like a subtitle, but I wanted my title really to stand out. And then I did change the snowflake configuration over here, left this blank, and did this here. And I love this little 31. You can see that I found some glitter enamel dots in my stash, and I added one here to this starburst and one down here to kind of marry the shaker bottle to the drink. And it's just so cute. Oh, and I decided to stitch along the cocktail paper because I wanted there to be a line, you know, like your vision to kind of come on down here. And I didn't I didn't want to put anything near my face. I thought, no. So I think that is going to be a wrap. I did use my Stampin' Up! Scallop border punch. I don't think I mentioned that earlier. And then I'll put the DMC floss colors in the video description. I always do that. And so let me just read the journaling to you real quick. No big party and no late night, just dinner out, a good drink, and a cozy game night at home with our people. A quick stop to see the stars tree, and a night that felt soft and easy as we welcome the new year, 12/31/2021. So I've got strong clusters. I moved my colors around, the pink, the red, the aqua, the seafoam. I think the kit calls this color seafoam, and this one is called aqua. And then the green is called pine, and this is called cranberry, and this is called champagne. So super cute, so much fun, and I definitely recommend grabbing this to document all of your holiday celebrations, whether it's family dinner on Christmas Eve or cocktails for New Year's. This collection can go the distance. So if you're one of my subscribers, thanks so much for being a part of the community. And if you're new here and or you haven't subscribed, welcome. Glad you found me, and I'd love for you to hit that button and join in on the fun with us. I hope that you had as much fun playing with paper as I did while I put this page together. And as always, thanks for hanging out with me.
so much for hanging out with me today. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to give it a thumbs up, leave a comment, and hit that subscribe button so you don't miss a thing. I'll be back soon with more layouts, videos, and a little stash busted magic. So please come back and crop with me. Until next time, happy scrapping, and remember, this is where paper meets story. Bye-bye.